from the Mac of All Trades studio in Fairport. And driven by Victor Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, it's Billified, the Bill Moran Podcast.
Well, hello and welcome. Thanks for getting your pod on. Thank you for telling a friend. That's how we spread the word about the pirate ship. Speaking of friends, look who's back. Danny, back from the dead. You don't seem like your peppy self. You still out of it?
I'm still trying to. I'm
You
still
kind of
recovering.
like you're at Aaron Rodgers at OTAs. You don't have your stride back.
It's,
you
uh,
You fired him.
you see,
no, it's just been tough. I mean, it's hard.
Are you on week 2?
This week too?
You
Yeah.
got about 2 more to go. Carrie had the same thing.
Yeah. It's. I don't know if it's a virus or allergies, but my doctor doesn't know which one it was. But
yeah.
breathing's tough still. I mean, I've gotten over the worst of it,
Okay.
but it's the breathing part that.
What did your doctor say when you saw him?
I didn't see him. I emailed him and
Yeah,
asked
but
him.
you
but-
okay.
and,
But you corresponded.
Give him a list of
yeah,
supplements to take.
there's
Well,
nothing. There's
now,
nothing.
don't bite your tongue. Just hold on a second, because you have to realize where I'm going.
Yes.
There's a method to
Yes,
my
Kevin.
madness. There's
Yes.
a method. Just tell me, what did the doctor say? Hang on, Kevin. Kevin's already.
You just got it
Kevin's
right.
jumping the gun.
It's going around.
Yes.
He goes, it could be allergies, it could be a virus.
Yeah.
He goes, there's a lot of crap in the air. It's like
Yes.
the perfect storm.
It
time
is.
of
There's
year.
been a lot of that.
COVID without the COVID.
What is the? Yeah.
It's what Carrie's doctor
There are
told her.
people in the hospital right now.
Really?
You don't hear about it, but they're with respiratory illnesses
Okay.
due to this. And because, so it's kind of like
I'm telling you, the flu bomb, baby. Garlic,
did that.
cayenne pepper, every night. I do it every night, sometimes twice a day.
So I do the Jameson and Guinness bomb
Yeah,
every
same
night.
thing. Jameson and Guinness bomb. That'll protect your immune system. You
I think
dope.
I stopped eating crumble
Jesus
cookies. I think
Fuck
that's
your liver up, but
Have you lost weight?
no.
No.
No,
Okay,
not because
all
of
right.
the sickness.
No, not because of the
No,
sickness, but you
no,
were down.
I haven't lost weight. Period. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I
were
was
down.
down. Yeah.
So now Kevin did ask the question, and I asked the question on the phone a couple days ago when I said to him, tell me that you're blaming the fact that your wife talked you out of the supplements. And I say your wife, even though I think she had you ask the doctor, and the doctor sort of supported her.
Yeah, this was
Theory,
the
did you?
at the time. This is in November.
Yes.
And this was the emergency room doctor
Yes.
who, when I talked to her, I'm like, okay, she's not up on the latest information.
Wait. You're saying the emergency room. You're saying the doctor.
I'm smarter than the doctor.
Wait,
No, it's
you're-
not that she was. It's just that she. I don't think she understood
This is awesome.
wellness.
She doesn't understand
Okay.
modern medicine.
All
no,
right.
no. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying she. I think that she kind of has this idea that vitamins don't make a difference.
Okay.
That was the impression I got from her. All
right,
and
well-
that's a school of thought that doctors have, that vitamins don't make a difference. You just have to eat healthy.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
She's a
I'm
Democrat.
not sure about that, because I've always had doctors say to take that. I think that when you're going in for a heart ailment, they may say, "Hey, let's eliminate everything, see if things improve, and then slowly add back, because maybe something you're taking could be triggering that." That's how I would have taken what she said. But either way, I wasn't there, so I don't know. Now, but you stopped. Are you a little bit annoyed that you stopped?
Little, yeah.
Yeah.
So today,
Today I took
today-
7 handfuls.
a couple Amazon packages showed
How
up.
many? How many?
3 of them, and my wife didn't say a word.
How many? Well, of course not. How many? So what are you? What are you going back
it was
on?
more coincidental because it was the stuff that I had run out of, like D3 and K2.
Yeah, D3, K2.
magnesium glycinate.
Well, that usually
type of
helps you
stuff.
sleep.
But like
Those are two things I take.
but
so-
vitamin D and C actually help clear out infections.
Yeah.
And viruses and that type of stuff. But there's also some other stuff that I got that I was using before.
Like what?
This like the special like pepper type of supplement that helps like clear out your veins and stuff and whatnot. Also some NAD stuff like that helps like with your it helps with aging, that type of stuff. It really didn't make a difference when it comes to this case. It really doesn't. It's
What
more
is
long term stuff.
NAD?
NAD plus. I don't have time to get into it, but look it up.
Okay, NAD plus.
It's anti-aging type stuff.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
it's working wonders.
Speaking of anti-aging, Kevin's son Sam is here. Sam's back from college, and I think, Sam, if you're open to it, okay, you can say no, but later in the episode, I'd like to play a game called What Dad Doesn't Know, and we just ask you some questions about your first year at college, and you can even plead the fifth. You can say, I refuse to answer. But just simple, and they're not even going to be really dirty. Some are sort of open-ended.
Am I allowed to call it out if he pleads the fifth and I know the answer?
Yes. Well, I do think we also need to take Sam to task on one thing that I was very disappointed in earlier this year that you did explain on the podcast about an envelope coming home, and you don't tell your parents, hey, don't open it.
What happened?
What do you mean what happened? You had an envelope that was sent to the house, and you said, don't open the envelope.
There was 6 different things in it.
See, this is, Sam, this is where what you need to do is you call up and you say, hey, I ordered something for my wall in the dorm room, and I accidentally had it sent to the house. Can you just forward it to me? And if they open it, they open it. But to say don't open it, come on.
Well, no, I meant to order it to the house.
Oh, yes, I know you did.
Like, so my friend could come pick it up.
I got you. Oh.
I didn't want them to open it still, though.
But you don't say, don't open it.
No, yeah, that was probably the
Your
first
father,
thing.
your father ever opened your mail? My father would open mail. That I
No,
would get
I'm not
from-
going to say that. But I don't know that my parents would, because they would say it was like an invasion of privacy.
Oh, my dad did, and he would read it.
Yeah. I
Out
mean,
loud.
okay, but the thing is, but my point is,
It was from a girl.
there's
Dan,
a
you have
chance.
jury duty on July 17th.
But there's a chance that
Love
if I don't say don't open it, that they won't open it.
Yeah.
If I say don't open it, there's 100% chance they are opening it.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Yes, I know. That's what I'm saying. So I was disappointed. I go, this is a smart kid. I know it's a smart kid, but I think in the moment got a little nervous.
He's got a high IQ, but he's not too bright in the common sense department.
My dad just opened my mail, period. He
I
didn't
kind of
care.
fell on my face there.
Yeah. I don't know. I think with my guys, I never did. I would just, no, because I figured it's not addressed to me. It was addressed to you. Like if letters came from grandma or grandpa and stuff, no, I would never do that. Because it's an invasion of privacy. I think there's, I don't know, to me, everybody's different. There had to be some boundaries. That's all. You know, so, and you were also felt trusted that way too, right?
Yeah.
That's all. I don't know. Hey, look, if your parents open your mail, they open your mail. It was their house,
Do you open
right?
Beth?
They were paying the bills.
Do you open Beth's mail?
No.
Danny wouldn't dare.
Kidding me?
Danny would.
That's not right. I mean, it's not
No.
that I would like,
Nah.
this is suspicious.
Yeah.
Another credit
Smells
card?
like chloroform.
Smells like something.
That smells like money.
It smells like we could have a whole lot of fun in the coming days here. Donald Trump became the first U.S. president to be convicted of a crime, found guilty on 34 counts of falsifying documents to cover up payment to silence Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. I think this may be, let me see if I got this right. I think this one is Fox in L.A. Well, here's Fox in L.A. kind of talking about it.
In here to our newsroom talking about all the latest as we are now learning that the former president has been found guilty on all counts there in this hush money trial. Nima Rahmani back here in on live now from Fox. Thank you so much for joining us. We were seeing high atop there, guilty on accounts. You predicted kind of what's going on, but this is an unprecedented. Can you kind of give me a sense of just the ramifications of this?
And a really historic moment that we are seeing a former president dragged into criminal court, being held accountable, being convicted of 34 felony counts by 12 members of the community there in New York. I cannot understate what an important day this is. And there are a lot of folks who believe that Donald Trump has been treated unfairly by our criminal justice system. But I'm an attorney. I've been doing this for 20 years, and I believe that our legal system works. I believe in our jury system. It's the greatest system in the world, and it doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump or Hunter Biden in a week or two. Everyone is bound by the rule of law, and this shows that presidents are not kings, like the U.S. Supreme Court said, and that no matter what happens on the political arena, our legal system works.
I don't think anything's going to happen. But, well, he'll appeal, and I think it's like July 5th or something for the sentencing, and he's not going to jail or anything like that. We'll talk to Arnie Rothschild in just a minute, who's handled a lot of campaigns, only from a campaign perspective. Legally, you'll hear every pundit in the world talking about it, so I'm not so sure that it matters. However, Trump himself did have some statements to make, and I love this. It's like in an echoey garage.
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area. This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. But the real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA and the whole thing. We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man. And it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution. Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now from prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble, but this was a rigged decision right from day one with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case, never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
He's already called Billy Joel. He's going to get the campaign song, Innocent Man. So would he still be complaining if rigged had he been acquitted on all
No, because
charges?
then it wouldn't. But no, because then it wouldn't have been.
Because he's been saying rigged all along.
Yeah.
But then he wins. It's not rigged anymore?
If he was found not guilty, he would say, I was incorrect. I don't know what he would have said. I don't know.
Justice has prevailed, Billy.
We can say that.
We have the
but I
greatest
don't-
justice system,
I
the
don't-
greatest justice system.
Yeah, probably, Danny. He probably would. I don't know. It's a historic time. Look, the thing was like the other day, I always think that Biden was a little more middle of the road and made some huge mistakes trying to get people out of the campaign so he could be the nominee. You know, Buttigieg, who was a little more farther left, and then you had Warren, who was really far left, and he wanted to take on Bernie Sanders himself and not have Warren sort of in the way, and so he gives her, and that like really moved things to the far left in his cabinet and in his campaign. And I'm not really sure. I say the CHIP Act seems to have done well for the economy and jobs. I guess we'll really see, but it seems to have, with new jobs and things. Trump, I don't know. I don't know what to think of him. I don't know what this really means now, if anything. I think it almost helps the guy. In a way.
6 weeks of free advertising.
Yeah, and you know, Biden has more money right now. Biden has way more money to campaign and stuff. And but I said the other day, and I don't know, and if any of you guys will agree with this or not, but I would not be surprised if this is the lowest voter turnout for a presidential election in the history of the United States, because you're talking about an 82-year-old man and a guy who's going to be 78 years old. And if I told you that, you know, either one of these guys got a grave illness within, I don't know, a couple months, would you be surprised at 82 and 78? And I think the answer by most people would be no. So I'm not sure, and I think there's a bit of apathy there. And, you know, boy, from numbers I read are anywhere from 100 million plus not showing up to the polls to vote. So if you get a little bit of those to come to your side, and maybe this is a way to go, hey, this is a rigged system where you're getting, maybe that's a way to sway them to, I don't know. I have no idea.
Didn't they have the most voters in the last election, though?
They did in the last.
So I find it hard to believe they would go, even though it's Biden and Trump.
Yeah, well,
right?
I just wonder if they're just sick of it now.
We are.
Understand what I'm saying?
We all are.
Yeah.
I hate them all.
I just think that there's a real apathy for it.
But at the same time, you still have to make a decision.
I know.
With this country. And you know,
it's just a theory.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I really feel like the general consensus is people are just kind of sick of it. But maybe I'm wrong.
I think well, it's kind of stupid, but I think the smart people have opted to. The king always gets his head cut off. The smart people are not going to run for office. The people that you want, if you're a Republican and it's a Reagan type, or you're a Democrat and it's a Clinton type, those are the people that you hope for. Those guys aren't running for office anymore. Those guys are now puppets backed by somebody who is like that and has the power and the money and can be like, look, I don't want that job, but you know what? I will tell you what to do, Barack Obama, because he was a puppet, and Biden is a puppet, and Trump was his own little like puppet of sorts too. And so, I mean, it's just like puppets, it's like a puppet. I'm sorry. Trump just ran for this job just because it was a contest.
Hi there.
Hi there, Artie Rothschild. Artie just texted me and said, you better call me now because I'm cocktailing, which I can appreciate. The sun is out.
Yeah,
and I can appreciate that more than you even know, Arnie. But with all this, we see a historic thing. By the way, what is the cocktail of choice? I should start there.
Oh, that's Bacardi Limon and Diet Coke, by the way. So.
Bacardi Limon and Diet Coke. That's actually a nice summer little cocktail there. Garnished with the lime?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
But but it works.
If there's one in the fridge, yes. If there's not one in the fridge, I'm good to go.
Yeah. I'm not on hold, so it's good.
So we are looking at something that we've never seen in the United States, where a president has been convicted of a crime, and President Trump being found guilty on 34 counts of campaign. I think it's just, what was it, falsifying documents. So what does this mean from a campaign perspective for him? I don't think it hurts him necessarily, or does it, in your opinion, if you're running that campaign?
Well, so here is the great misunderstanding of people with elections. Forget about Democrats, forget about Republicans. Undecided or unregistered, non-affiliated voters are driving elections today. So if you were to take New York State, for example, the number one political party is the Democrats. Number two is unaffiliated. Number three is Republican. So the question becomes, because we don't have the national election for president, what happens with those unaffiliated voters in Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Nevada, and Arizona? And I think there are some things that are kind of baked into the verdict, right? So we live in New York, and we don't always see how New York is perceived by the rest of the country.
Right.
And we're seeing as this crazy liberal New York City being the emblematic of it. New York City bastion of liberal thought. So back to what I was saying: Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Nevada, Arizona. I think that probably I would believe he gets a bump in polls. I think he probably gets a bump in fundraising. The people that hate him are going to hate him more. The people that love him are going to love him more. But the real question politically is only those unaffiliated voters.
I feel so smart.
And I do.
I'm
sorry, what?
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I feel kind of smart right now because I said to these guys before we called you, I don't know why, and Danny even said we had one of the highest voter turnouts in the last presidential election, but I feel like this could be one of the lowest. I feel like people are kind of sick of this, and I'm reading things that say you could have 100 million plus that are not voting in this upcoming presidential election. And I said, if there's one way to just persuade those non-voters to one side, that could really tip the scales, I think. And that's what I wondered with this verdict in a way. And to your point, outside of New York State, they may think, we got it completely wrong. This is too liberal and and incorrect, and he didn't do anything wrong. And so there you go.
So there is a thing in politics that we talk about all the time called partisan intensity. How important is an election to someone? And in this particular situation, what we've watched with polling, and by the way, anybody who looks at national polling needs to stop. You need to only look at state-by-state polling and only look at likely voter polling, not registered voter polling. So what we're seeing right now, trend line, in likely voter polling, I believe you're going to see the former president get a huge bump. And then you're going to have to see the current president's campaign try to diminish the being pushed far left. You know, we saw it with Robert De Niro yesterday when they did that demonstration, and the reaction of people outside of New York City, which was extremely negative. So, you know, I certainly am not an attorney, but I've been in a couple hundred elections. If I'm doing the Biden campaign right now, I honestly think 34 guilty. If it had been 17 and 17, I'd feel better. But a unanimous 34 conviction rate, that's troubling to me because it seems partisan.
Gotcha. Okay. That's very interesting. And I did wonder, in a way, outside, I didn't even think of really outside of New York, but for those who may be on the fence go, I don't like this. I don't like the way that, I don't think the justice system worked here or wasn't in favor of this guy. He didn't get a fair shot. And I think I'll get off the fence and vote for him.
Well, here's what happened in the election of 2016. Of those states that I mentioned, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania went to Donald Trump against Hillary Clinton.
Right.
In Michigan, over 200,000 African Americans did not come out to vote in the Detroit area. Sometimes elections are not about who you support, they're about who you don't want to vote for. And to your point, if it suppresses turnout, it's not going to be on the Republican side. Republicans in partisan intensity are going to turn out in bigger numbers. So can it suppress vote? Absolutely. But I believe that would probably be more of an issue for Democrat voters. They already hated Donald Trump. More of them are not going to come out because he was convicted. But partisan intensity on the Republican side is going to be much higher, I believe.
It's very interesting. I mean, to watch this unfold, but I think that you have some real insight to this, and I appreciate it.
But listen, by the way, I have a son who was a police officer in Arizona, and in Arizona has been in play between Republicans and Democrats. And do you know what the huge issue right now politically in Arizona is?
What?
It's border security.
Yeah, sure.
Because my daughter-in-law, who is a legal Mexican immigrant, they really are upset with the illegals that have come across the border. So, you know, you've got a lot of moving parts, and the question then becomes, if you're a voter in Arizona or Nevada, who is talking about those things that are important to you? The trial, the 72 hours from now, we'll be back to the issues. And the questions are going to be what issues are going to drive the election: inflation, price of gas, price of food, price of housing, immigration, who's paying for what. And, so by the way, I said to someone earlier, if I was President Biden tonight, what I would do is do what Gerald Ford did. I would pardon Donald Trump.
Really?
I would try to take the issue off the table. This is not a good issue politically for anybody on the left side of this because of the appeal to the unaffiliated voter.
That was sort of what my gut was saying. Yeah, Danny.
All right, I have one question. Last election, and you can say this about a lot of different elections, right? You go, and it's about 9:01. The polls in New York have closed, and CNN says, and now this could be in Florida for a Republican presidential candidate like Trump, or this could be New York like a Democratic presidential candidate with Biden. In this case, it's with Biden. 0% of precincts declaring Joe Biden the winner. Does that not raise an eyebrow when like nobody's reporting this, but hey, we just assume we're going to give it to New York. And if CNN reports it or the AP reports it, then all of a sudden it's like everybody just, we'll just concede that goes, and we're not even going to count the votes. Does that raise an eyebrow? Is that significant?
I'll tell you when it did raise an eyebrow. So first of all, it's done by exit polls, right? So they do exit polling, and voters will tell them in targeted districts how they voted. And they can then project, New York State, by the way, is very easy to project. However, when George W. Bush ran for president and Al Gore was a challenger, in Florida exists in 2 time zones. And so the panhandle of Florida is in a different time zone.
That's
So
right.
the networks went on and they projected the, Al Gore winning the state of Florida, but they hadn't counted the panhandle. And so then there was an argument about whether projecting that had suppressed vote. They thought it was about 20,000 votes in the panhandle. And then if you remember, we got to the hanging chads and Florida was in play. But to your point, the projecting a winner before the polls even closed in Florida absolutely changed voting. So, we New York aside, exit polling aside, there probably needs to be more controls of how the media reports elections or what the media tells people about elections. I watched a little bit earlier somebody on NBC say, well, this is a very close election nationally. Well, we don't have a national election for president. We have 53 local elections for president. And so there is no national polling is meaningless. So and go back to the point that I started with. Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Iowa, Nevada, and Arizona will decide the election. And New York is going to be blue, and California is going to be blue.
Right.
Here's kind of just one last dumb thought. In the election of 2016, Hillary Clinton, and I can be a little off on these numbers, but I'm not going to be off by much. Hillary Clinton won in California and New York by a combined 6 million votes. But nationally, only won by 4 million. That means she lost the rest of the country by over 2 million votes.
Yep.
But we have an electoral college that people don't seem to understand. We don't have a national election, and people can argue about whether that's good or bad. But the reality of, back to your question and what we started with, Bill, the impact of this election will not be decided in New York City. It's going to be decided in those states, and it's going to be decided by the unaffiliated voter.
Yeah, and I always thought the Electoral College was sort of built to not give the overpopulated areas, the coasts more than anything, the say of what rules the rest of the country, right? Because there's it's such a large country and so much in the middle there that seems to get forgotten. And so the Electoral College was to try to even that out and make it as Democrat as possible.
And you're absolutely right. And there's a misunderstanding. We are not a democracy.
Right.
We are a representative republic that has democratic elections. So the brilliance of the Electoral College is, if absent that, if I had a candidate and ran him for president, I could do it in 6 cities in the United States and win.
Yeah.
That's all I have to do.
Yeah.
6 of the largest cities and win. So, and with that, I appreciate, everybody's time, and I hope there was something meaningful here, because I know I've confused a lot of issues, but
no, I don't think you did. I think you explained it pretty well.
No, you nailed it.
And I think the Bacardi Limon with the Diet Coke really helped. Really it really accentuated things. I thought it went well.
If I were to, by the way, I heard something that I think may be an indication of people's reaction. I heard that the Trump campaign's fundraising website crashed, which to me believes it may be overloaded right now.
Yeah.
And if I was guessing, or projecting something, I would guess in the national polls, although they mean nothing, he'll get a 4-point bump, 5-point bump over the next week. I think that a lot of people, and again, I go back to that, 34 guildies seems like a fix. 1717 people would go, well, there might have been some gray areas. 34 felony convictions, when they had to rewrite the statute to make them even charged with felonies, kind of difficult.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. What does this say here? I'm a political prisoner breaking. Is this Is this Team Trump for real?
It's a campaign. We need money.
I was just convicted, but if you can't afford to donate, please don't. Oh, well. Because the website went down. They're putting it out on social media because the website went down. Yeah. This will be an interesting time for sure. Boy, never a dull moment with the Trumps around.
No, it's a lot of fun.
Hey, what we ought to do, let's see. So we've got in political parlance, we've got about 8 lifetimes till the election in 5 months. We ought to check back a few times on this, because I think you're going to see some trend lines and issues that are going to be beyond anything we've ever seen, just like today was.
I would like that, Arnie. I really would, because it was I think this is some good insight, and I think sometimes when it's somebody who has the knowledge and can speak right to the point, it makes it easier. I always think, you want to make things as intuitive as the iPhone or the iPad, right? That you can just kind of figure out. And some of this stuff, I think just the word political at times is a deterrent for people, but it's something I think is important and we need to pay attention to.
One last very quick thought.
Yep.
I've done 41 judicial elections around New York State. I have never, and I talked to a bunch of attorneys and judges, by the way, over the last couple of weeks. And no one has ever, either attorney or judge, seen the behavior exhibited by the trial judge, Judge Marchand in New York City. So that's going to be an entirely additional issue that everybody's going to have to deal with.
Yeah, it's been
none of my.
What are they saying? Because I'm not as familiar with this, but I did see somewhere that the tone of his voice when handling objections from the prosecution or the defense was very different. What was something that was said, but I don't know. I go, is that someone's perception? I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know what's real, but here's the simplest view that was communicated to me. The appearance of impropriety is impropriety.
Yeah.
And so if if you have a daughter who is benefiting by being a political consultant, not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you have a daughter that's benefiting, if you have instructions to jurors that are questioned, if you have antagonistic outbreaks in a courtroom, or for the record, this man is not an elected judge. He's an appointed judge who became a Supreme Court justice by virtue of longevity. The New York State Appellate Division First and the Court of Appeals may look very, very hard at this trial. It'll take a number of months, but I'm not sure that this judge survives the scrutiny.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that'll be another thing to watch. Yeah, I agree. It'll be very interesting. Arnie, thank you, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your cocktail.
I appreciate that, pal.
All right.
Thank you for everything. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Arnie Rothschild.
Yeah, send out the Bacardi Lamont's bat signal, and Arnie will show up.
But
talk politics.
I really do wonder if this will persuade some people who are not going to vote. And he really broke it down. And I guess I never thought of the presidential election as not a national election. It really is a local election. And to your point, I think saying that, like, hey, the East Coast is done, I'm not sure if that'll persuade people from not voting and may motivate people to say, oh, fuck. But when you have a state that's strapping to time zones, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, my point was, like, I know there's exit polls and everything.
Yeah.
I think it looks a little silly. 0% of precincts reporting. It's like, what, are they not counting the votes?
Yes. It does sound very silly. You're right.
New York's a blue state. Give it to them.
All right, we'll take a moment and we'll lighten things up. Do we do a guy who is my hero, who has made a statement today that I think that
it wasn't Trump.
No, this is my hero. This is my legit hero.
I should have hired Steve Sercu and his wife. They would have done a great job. They would have gotten me off. Life's a total smoke show.
Kevin's already showing the picture of Pete Davidson
With Melania Trump.
Melania Trump's hand because Pete sweeps in.
They just got back from Taco Bell.
Or should we put a little heat to your son Sam and play What Dad Doesn't Know from his first year in college? As long as Sam's cool. The point isn't too embarrassing when they're somewhat innocuous, but if you're uncomfortable, we won't.
You got to use words he understands.
No, we're good.
Okay. He understands. He went to Aquinas.
Yeah.
That's not
He
saying
didn't go
much.
to Silver Creek. Or Pine Plains,
Public
buddy.
school, Billy.
No,
Public
I'm
school
not saying
education
public school.
is the
I'm
worst
saying
education.
Silver Creek and Pine Plains. Probably two pretty shitty educations overall.
I don't know.
We had a girl from my class go to Yale.
Yeah, I had like 6 people go to Cornell.
Oh,
that
I had a
doesn't
bunch
count.
of people go
You're
to
right.
Cornell.
Yeah, everybody
too.
goes to Cornell. Cornell's like the
My
safety.
brother went to Cornell.
Cornell is the safety school of the Ivy League, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is.
All right. Hey, White Trash took a roll-off dumpster to Kevin's
Speaking
house.
of Cornell, Billy.
Well, roll-off dumpsters. Look, if you're doing a project around your house and you're going to clean out the basement, or you just got that spring cleaning fever, or you're going to do what Kevin did where he took down a shed, what do you do with all this stuff? So they got these dumpsters. What'd you get, a 15-yarder?
We had a 20-yarder.
Actually
Actually had a little door on the back, too, so you didn't have to go over the top.
Oh, that's
you can walk
awesome.
it. You can walk it in.
Yeah. Because sometimes when you're throwing stuff in, if you don't have gloves on and there's a nail you don't see or something,
Or you're not getting it level, and
Yeah.
you got 17 feet in one spot, and you got a whole empty dumpster
Or
in the
when your
back.
dumpster becomes the neighborhood dumpster.
Oh, I've seen that too.
Oh,
I've seen where
I've lived
people
it.
just
They
go
were trying.
Throw
Yeah.
it. So were they really?
But I was like, I got a couple things. I put them in there.
Got a couple things. But look, no matter what it is, 15, 20, 30, 40 yarders, they've got them all. And I think you can just call White Trash. Just go to whitetrashrubbish.com. You can see everything there. And I'm telling you, the dumpster thing is great cleaning out a basement.
And you don't even have to know what size you need. You just tell them what you're doing,
Yeah.
and they'll tell you what you need. I didn't know what size I needed. I said, I'm taking down a 10 by 12 shed. We'll get you a 20-yarder.
Yeah, they make it really easy. And, of course, they do trash pickup as well, more on the west side of our city. But they'll bring those roll-off dumpsters anywhere. And, look, if you have maybe you're downsizing, empty nesters, we're going to be talking to Sam, who's freshman year of college. My kid just finished college, right?
This room's soon to become the office.
You're not going to be coming home right now. Maybe you go, well, it's time to downsize. If it's your last kid, that dumpster is going to come in really handy. It's amazing the amount of absolute crap we accumulate.
And that's the funny thing is we cleaned out the shed again. We had just cleaned out the shed maybe 2 summers ago.
Yeah.
And we took a ton of crap to the curb.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing the amount of
did.
crap.
You did.
I did.
Well, that's your job. That's why.
Mom and I did the last one.
I did all this one.
Okay.
But they're just the crap that we had more in the shed just to take out.
Yep. White Trash Rubbish, whitetrashrubbish.com.